Oh, wait, I haven't opened the agenda yet. Or can you pull it up, Jody?
Pull it up. I don't know if you may get to it quicker than I do. Son of a bitch. Sorry.
This is on recording.
There is. Hey. I gotta go to the city clerk page.
Hmm.
We had some issues with posting PDFs on the PDSD website. And it looks like it happened with this one. So here's the agenda.
Ah, thanks. Okay.
Oh.
So let's start with agenda item 1. Roll call. So just state your names.
Mary Lou Hewitt, present.
Grace, present.
And Philip Neher, present. These are 3 or 4 members, so we have quorum. Approval of the minutes. I make a motion to approve it, if I may. I reviewed it and looked good.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, and we'll have a vote. Philip, aye.
Mary Lou Hewitt, aye.
Aye.
That was Grace, aye. Thank you. Approved. 3-0. Then call to the audience. Anything going on, Jody?
No, we'll call the audience.
Okay, then let's go to 4, which is the actual reason for the call, which is to continue our review and discussion of the guidelines.
And I'll stop sharing so Grace can share.
Okay, are you guys able to see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So I actually missed the last one. So I'm not exactly sure where we are, but see
The
where
last one we
comments
didn't.
stop.
We didn't have a quorum, so there was no last one.
Oh, I see. So it looks like we're here at rainwater harvesting.
Okay.
So, is rainwater where you would have a discussion of the canales? So I know it's the point to bring this up,
Hmm.
but remember Diane Keaton originally, and by originally I mean the restored version, had 3 canales because there were just 3 roof drains, and she added 17 more.
Yeah.
But there was a fair amount of discussion about them actually being operable versus non-operable. I mean, is this where you, I mean, I guess I don't know where else it would be other than Reinhardt, because that's where you kind of talk about gutters and stuff.
Yeah.
But is it, do they have to be operable? do they have to be even spaced? Do they, I mean, is this a discussion that you guys want to have in there? Oh, and she also that I have a not nice term for it, but that piece of art in the back that looked like a raised water tower, but in
Oh.
all
You mean
actuality-
the gravity flow tower that doesn't belong there?
Mhm.
well, but it also was inoperable too.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, do
Mhm.
you want to?
Yeah, it's a
them
good
to be-
discussion.
Yeah, I think that, canales should be operable. They aren't an art piece that, you put on a building. They were always meant to drain the roof,
Yeah.
rainwater off the roof. And so they should be functional.
So this is a good question. Like, I don't think it happens here so much, but like it becomes a decorative element only, right? Like they put canales on just to make it look cute, Barrio, you know. And do you see the same in Santa Fe where they put on the vigas, on the side of the house, and it's just a styrofoam or something. Like it's
Um,
not even a real viga, It's just on the facade. And
Whether
and
it's
there they accept it.
canales or vigas, it's like,
Yeah. So, but do we, yeah. I think that's a good point. I mean, they should be
They should
not
be
decorative.
functional.
Yeah, they should be functional and functionally justified, like you don't have
Yes,
on a roof, you need two, one normal, like depends on the size, but one for one canale and one for overflow in a way, that's normally the formula. So you have always a certain redundancy because one could get stuck. So, but you don't need
so
redundancy.
do you figure it on this, on the square footage of the roof?
Yes, normally that's
Okay.
square footage of the roof, and the diameter, and at least two.
Okay,
Yeah, but that's the functional requirement, but we shouldn't be that prescriptive, I think. Mhm. Yeah. The amount should be based on the specific needs, right? Or
it should be based on the roof size,
yeah,
should be the amount of, the number of canales should be based upon roof size.
yeah. This is the Diane Keaton clause.
Yeah, she managed to just about cut through everything that shouldn't be done.
And then what are we saying in general about and the design of the canales should obviously again, I mean, it's all clear, reference or match the be
Can we say the
compatible what
number,
we see in
the number and size of the canales should be
Yes,
based
that's a
upon
good one.
roof size?
uh,
So when you're talking about the number and size of the canales, this is more for new construction, right? So
Well, but you could be replacing some that were either plastered over or need to be replaced.
But so maybe that is a clarification for this. So because you're not saying that, Yes, you have the ones that were plastered over, or the one, or they just are in poor condition and they need to replace. But you want somebody who's just never had canales to like be slapping them up.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Because then you end up with 20. So I would just clarify maybe in that sentence. For new construction or documented missing or something along those lines.
The question is, yeah. How would you formulate that? Jody,
What?
you just mentioned, what you just mentioned.
Clarify in the sentence, probably at the beginning. Or however Grace wants to do it, because she's the one typing.
Yeah, no, keep going.
That the canales should that this part of the discussion that you're having is for new construction
No, I think
or
it's,
for
yeah.
missing canals that are have documentation that they previously existed or something like that. Because this isn't something where somebody could just add canales. Like Diane Keaton, she just liked the cemetery, which is why she added the 17.
Yeah.
So what you want to avoid, somebody coming along to
Okay,
with
I
good
get your
intentions,
point.
I guess.
Yeah. So we would then have to say that for the remodel, if appropriate, or if based on historic precedent, then this applies, and it applies for new construction. Huh? I understood you saying that it applies for new construction, no question, but also applies for historic structures that had canales historically.
Yes.
Why couldn't you add, let's say if Diane Keaton's house didn't have, and it's not her house anymore, but a house on the southwest corner on 17th and Convent, if that didn't have canales, but somebody added 3, because that's the amount by size, and that would be justified in terms of the size of the. Would we oppose that?
You mean clean up the mess she created and
No, if somebody found
go
that
and go back to what was historically there.
Yeah, that anyway, that would be justified, right? But what if it didn't have canales and somebody added, let's say, a reasonable amount of them in order to drain their roof? Because, there was leakage in the on the walls or something. Just the other solution didn't work. I mean, it could easily happen that somebody wants to add canales that are functional to a historic structure.
Well, would that be something that they would add to the front or the back? I mean,
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
because that would be just the not visible ones.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could still be draining their roof, that's draining to the back.
Yeah, these are
1,
the
2,
nice.
3.
Yeah. And one on the right also? No, probably not.
There was a 1, 2, 3. There should have been 4.
No, but they were not canales.
They were
Very
square.
low. Yeah, they were just ventilation openings. The roof was sloping to the back. That's a sloped roof to the back. I never realized that that's what they did.
Are they even open or they're just
No,
attached?
they were decorative.
They're decorative.
Hmm.
Oh, Diane Keaton, that was before your time, wasn't it, Grace, on this board?
Yes.
Before
was
all of
nuts.
yeah.
And she did a fair amount of work without permits.
But
So,
I think even the guys before her already. Because
already
this,
done
a
work
lot
without
of what
permit?
this was done, yeah. Like this used to be a sloped roof and now it's a flat roof. Can you go to the right of it? Show the north elevation. Yeah, look,
Yeah,
It does still,
does it
I
still?
saw, yeah, down.
Uh-huh.
Looks like they all drain that way still.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, these canals are not functional. Because the roof behind is probably still sloping. It's a shame. Oh no, there it is.
there we go.
Yeah,
Hmm.
this is more. So somebody made it. Uh-huh. No, but this is during construction.
Yeah.
This is what they did. They made, the flat roof, a parapet design. I don't know if that was ever approved, to go from
Oh,
this
sorry.
to this. I'm not sure. That was Mary Lou, that was Jody's time, no?
Mm,
this.
We didn't have,
This was before
I'm
me.
not sure that that roof was approved.
Yeah. But I mean, I would be surprised for Jody and you guys to approve it.
No,
Yeah,
I think the design that we saw was a sloped roof, but not a flat roof.
yeah. Okay, so this is not really the issue here, but yeah. No, these were totally decorative. We know that now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that we wouldn't allow. But if they had put the canales to the back now, that would be would have been an acceptable solution. If, the functional canales, so. Okay, let's say this.
Good wording. Thank you, Grace. Thank you,
Is that
guys. Yeah, that works.
Okay, cool. Jody, anything that worries you here still?
I was just thinking about the one. Because that was so fun when we all dealt with that.
Yeah. You mean the one we just looked at?
Yeah, do you have a? So rainwater hardening barrels come in a lot of different colors. Like I have black ones, but there's like white ones and there's these weird clay colored ones. And then there's corrugated metal ones. Personally, I don't think you should limit it because it's great they are even doing rainwater harvesting.
But should we not allow, we're saying aluminum, steel and copper, while we're not allowing
That's
plastic?
for the gutters.
Yeah, but we would do the same for the rainwater tanks. So, would we keep it all open? Pretty ugly when they're plastic.
Yeah, but the bulk of them are going to be plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're more cost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're cheap, and you can put them on sand. If you have the corrugated metal ones, they have to be on a concrete base.
But I think the question that what they're asking is actually.
So I'm just saying, I think you should be more open. The only time I've ever seen some rainwater harvesting that I didn't like was when somebody had it in front of their front porch. It
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
here.
what I just wanted to say, yeah.
Oh,
I
God.
mean, we need to,
Okay.
we need to say something about these, yeah.
I would just say, well, you do say for rainfall must be located at non-street facing elevations and may not block views of the architectural features. Storage for rain sounds weird, but that's just
Yeah.
me. I would just call it rainwater harvesting tanks.
Yeah, but we can tell, we are telling people what kind of windows they allowed to use. Why do we hold back on the things? I mean, if you're walking down Rubio and you see this ugly black harvesting tank right next to a historic structure, you know, it's on Rubio and 17th, for example. Is that cool? I mean, are we saying, well, it's on an alley, it doesn't matter?
I mean, you are saying must be lit on street facing elevations and not block views.
Hmm.
I mean, they get pretty big, so you have really small, but I myself have a 1,300 gallon tank.
No,
And-
that's cool.
It's good size.
Yeah, yeah.
I just,
Where's the one you were thinking of?
Where are you? 17. No, it's on Kennedy. Okay, yeah, that corner. Can you look for this? Here, I think this corner. No, yeah, walk in the alley.
Down the alley.
Mhm. Yeah, out there, and then look to the left.
But I think idea, you are right, by actually gaining that space.
Oh, there's one in metal, that
First,
works.
We have some space that you can actually.
I think
go
if
Where
you
are you
look
looking?
to the left,
But certain condition.
Yeah, we're looking south going down Rubio Alley,
exactly.
no, where's the tank?
There's one
right
here.
there,
That's a metal.
next to the shed.
Maybe they changed it. I haven't been there in a while. I always thought there was one closer to the house on the left. Can you check?
Oh, that.
Yeah,
that's
no, it's not
That to
there.
me.
So this is pretty discreet, obviously.
Except one location, it looks like here.
What if it, okay, let's do it the other way. What if it was plastic?
This one to me, since it's not blocking the view of the house, it doesn't bother me too much.
No, this is great. I think this is, I mean, this does everything we are asking for, right?
Mhm.
But the
Yes.
question is, what if it was plastic? A green plastic, for example.
So there's
Yeah.
a plastic one on
Yeah, where is it?
my
I
street.
have one in my head.
But it's new construction.
I think plastic ones in Armory Park too. That I've seen kind of on the sides.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we are gonna have to do with that.
Oh, that one's small.
We can talk about ours
Mhm.
They might go and feel-
And it's tan color.
And it's right next to the front door though, right?
Yeah, no. this-
Yeah, that's,
Look at, I mean, wow, yeah. Yeah. That's a
just-
retrofit, understood, yeah.
So even if it was let's say if it was like the previous one, but instead of metal, they did, I think the biggest tank that you could do, let's just play this, biggest tank that you could do is like a 2,000 gallon tank. And they did it in green. I
God,
mean,
Hmm.
I'm just putting it out, but it's, you know, it's set, it's like in the rear yard. It's not blocking the view of the house. It's not even attached to the house. I mean, it's just a standalone thing. I would be hesitant to that.
Yeah, I mean, from the historic perspective, it's removable, right? It's not impacting the building. It's not impacting your experience of the building.
Yeah, as long
Yeah.
as they're not on the street facing side in the back, it's great.
But even along, like, they had it along an alley. I mean, it's an alley. So your pretty face is not along the alley. Your money shot is your fraud. So I would not discourage that. I mean, we are in the desert and we've got drought conditions. Aside from all the crazy cyclone stuff happening in California, it's gonna continue here. So there's no impact to the house. And
Yeah,
like Grace said, it's totally reversible.
yeah.
And with the plastic tanks, you don't need a concrete pad. You just put them on level dirt. To me, it's like a plant. A really big green
Oof,
plant.
oof.
Oh,
Ugly, ugly
mm.
plant.
Oh, you could get people to put a mural on them.
No. Field them. Yeah. Maybe we say that if they are, well, we're not allowing them close to the structure, right? So that gives us enough. Like that house on Rubio, if they had put it in the front, we could have this allows us to tell them to put it to the back, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're asking them
Yeah.
to put them in inconspicuous places.
Yeah. Okay. I would say we encourage metal. I think it's fair to say that. That's soft, right? I mean, nobody, they don't have to do it.
Whatever is attached to the.
Jody, do you see that as a problem or?
Make the same color as the-
No.
Oh.
Okay. Sidewalks.
But yeah,
The gutters, I think, can we look back quickly? Because that goes with the rainwater harvesting. I mean, there's no gutters normally on a parapet house, right? And now we
Right.
saw a new construction that had gutters. I mean, like a parapet house with gutters. Kind
Mhm.
of something doesn't work here. And they could have done that differently. Obviously, it's a retrofit, so I understand it probably was difficult. And they obviously didn't ask. Sloped roofed. I mean, maybe it's enough to say sloped roofs there. Yeah. Did you put that in, Grace?
Yeah.
Yeah, good wording.
I think that says it, because if somebody has a flat roof or well, there could be a sloped roof behind the parapet. That's a bit.
Hmm.
Sometimes there are, you know. Um, um,
okay, so,
I'm just trying to find what's the generic term here, right? Or the generic, to not just say gutters on parapets doesn't make sense, but
Right.
huh? Why not, you say?
No, I said right. But we
Yeah.
can add that. I mean,
Yeah. Well, maybe we just say that, no?
Yeah, just straightforwardly.
Straightforward, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine another. Oh, people come always up with dumb things, but yep, let's just leave it.
Oh, up at the top of this page right there, it says in yellow, curb cuts are allowed unless part of a T-Dot project.
Are not allowed.
Are not allowed.
That I thought you were trying to say.
Pardon?
That's what you meant to say, not
Yeah.
allowed.
So we are not allowing curb cuts to harvest street water into, to trees. Is that runoff, street runoff onto the trees, like they do in some neighborhoods, and which is extremely successful? Marilo, why would we oppose that?
I think what they're getting at is the fact that along, let's say, just as an example, along Stone,
Mhm.
because there's so many people who are parked along there, and you've got a lot of established trees, you're gonna have a hard time putting in the curb cut and redoing literally that area between the sidewalk and the street curb. Unless you have the money to do a T-Dot project.
Uh-huh.
If you have new construction, or there's no trees have been put in, or there's no vegetation,
Yeah.
then
Exactly.
that's the ideal place for a T-Dot project.
So you mean, but are you meaning curb cuts to existing curbs, or?
Yeah, I'm talking, I think that's what they're talking about, is that they don't want you cutting into existing curbs.
But like, I used to be part of Pro Neighborhood for a while, and that was a big project in some neighborhoods, is to create curb cuts. And they really managed by that to grow their trees and increase the amount of vegetation. And I think the Barrio would do well with more trees along the
It
streets.
would.
Yeah. So one way to get there is curb cuts rather than irrigation, So, but would they have to go to T-Dot, right? That's what you're saying, even when you do.
Yeah,
It's
they've
true.
got to go.
Pro
They've got to
Neighborhood
go
had to
through
go
that
through T-Dot too.
project.
Those
Or
cuts.
they have to, I think they've got to go by certain guidelines, T-Dot guidelines.
Got it. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Mhm.
Even planting trees, you have to get a permit.
Yeah.
just sort of any work in the right of way, you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Part of a T-Dot
Should we say,
permitted project, approved.
Just so you know, it's actually not called T-Dot anymore. It's called TM.
transportation and
DTM, we
management.
wrote this earlier, right?
Yeah, Department of Transportation and Mobility.
Oh, okay.
It's been like that for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
I like to do it in my office. I get things like this.
Containers, do not put fencing, not pave. Well, the do not pave if previously unpaved. That has been totally misrespected.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I think this is even the city allows this in minor reviews. Or people do it without reviews, maybe. I mean, I know a few Dave Carter project who did that.
Let's try a lot of projects by a major property owner in the Barrio.
Yeah, and I'm getting actually almost pressured to put one in. You know, because now everybody, all my neighbors have it now paved. Like I think it's just 2 houses left that are not paved on the whole block. One is ours in the middle of the block and the other is on the corner. So
What if they put in pavers? They don't pave it with concrete, but they put in pavers. Is that the same thing?
you mean fully like brick pavers all over?
Yeah, just curious.
Yeah,
What's your
which
thoughts
is
on
what most of them did, you know.
that? Okay.
What this is, where does this come from? This is for the historic character or functional percolation? It's not percolation here.
It's
is it?
not percolation.
Yeah.
A lot of the
Character.
stuff got concreted over. And it create next to an adobe building, it just creates problems.
Well, we know, right? The Rollings lawsuit.
Yeah, every Rawlings property.
Yeah. So maybe we should specify how it's being paved. The problem is if you seal it, humidity needs to get out. It needs to be properly drained away from the building. These kind of things. Or do we want to keep the radical stance? You know,
Say,
people
don't pave
people
it.
do it anyway. You know.
I think leave it, and if it's something that people are pushing for, then they can justify it, and we can evaluate it at that point.
But this is a minor review, Jody, you know, or this people, we don't get these, nobody comes in front of the board because of paving the sidewalk.
You know, I think that's not even something that is called out in the as a needing a review. Because it's a flat surface, it's not built up. Believe it or not, we also do not, in the same vein, review in-ground pools because it's a flat to the ground. So I think it's the same kind of idea.
So this is in there because of character and in protection of the adobe houses. In front of a new concrete structure, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to incur the repairs that an adobe structure would have.
Yeah.
Or continuous fix and repair.
Yeah. Or lawsuits to the city.
Okay, so just leave it and deal with it project by project, or what you're saying is that it doesn't come to us except as a minor review, or it doesn't come up for review at all.
Yeah, exactly. And if somebody comes with a site plan to us, you know, because they're making a new construction, now they're seeing, because they have to go through the review, so now we're gonna review it, right? We're gonna make comments
Mhm.
on the site plan. And then they say, do not pave if previously unpaved. So now they have a new construction and now they're not allowed to put the brick floor in front of their building. Although technically, and now is this really the character that, I mean, is that an uphill battle, or has the character also changed considerably at this point? I mean, I totally believe in the non-paved thing, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's why we should just leave it in and,
Yeah, leave it alone. I mean,
yeah,
all you have to do is walk around some of the Adobe buildings in which they've concreted in right up to the structure
yeah.
and see the damage that's been done through time, even the brick.
I mean, shall we make them aware of it? I think that, isn't that a bit in
Yeah,
guidelines? I mean,
we
I
could
think we
just
could
say,
do that, yeah.
pavement of the area between the property line and the sidewalk. Often
Affects
affects
the
the,
structural integrity
yeah, of the
of
building.
the historic Adobe structures. I mean, that's what we are concerned about, right?
Yeah. Even the brick.
Yeah, even brick, you're right. If the brick goes in the ground. May. And, yeah. Good. Mhm.
Okay, we need to change. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, if they're responsible for major sidewalk repairs and replacement, they've not been doing a great job.
Yeah. I mean, what does that mean, major sidewalk?
It does,
It doesn't mean anything. I mean,
it
in
doesn't mean
Barrio,
anything. They
no?
dump that on every property owner.
Yeah, they just repaved, I think, Bill's project, right, on, is that Kennedy?
Yeah, Kennedy and Meyer.
I guess it's the old one.
Yeah. Did they put a full? I didn't look.
Yeah, they did. I just don't
Yeah.
have a picture of it. But yeah, with the curb cut and everything, I believe.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there wasn't one.
Mm.
I can't remember. I lived next to this and I can't remember seeing one there.
So I'm not sure if this sentence is then misleading, if you should rely on them to manage sidewalk repairs. That, well, I guess what's the point? Or telling them not to replace the sidewalk.
No,
Yeah, that's what it was.
DMT,
Yeah.
the city keeps telling us that any property owner has to repair or replace sidewalks around their property. And it's been that way for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the property owner has to take care of the repairs and the replacement.
But that's,
I'm just wondering if that's a guideline
Yeah.
so much as
exactly.
something that they're gonna learn during the permitting process.
I
Uh-huh.
think they're just gonna learn that the hard way. The only thing that is important here is if you've got an old WPA sidewalk to keep the WPA stamp in place.
It says that, not as specifically, but it does say that. Keep historic contractor stamp in place whenever possible.
So when the city is going out and doing repairs, we generally say to take a mold, cut it out with like 1 to 2 inch border around the stamp.
Hmm.
Keep it in a safe place and reinstall it
Mhm,
as close possible sanitation as where it was originally.
mhm.
Sometimes because they're putting in ramps at corners, it's not always possible to put it back where it was. Because like maybe before it didn't ramp down. So we just say as close as possible to where it was. And then the mold is in case it breaks, the mold that they can put it there. But it's usually got a score pattern. It's got a score, like a concrete score right around where, so it kind of stands
Mhm.
out now too.
Mhm.
Should we defer to your guidelines, Jody? Is there somewhere where they can find that, or?
It's a city protocol for that. But you can say it, I mean, if it's the homeowner, in theory, if it's the homeowner doing that, it's technically city property, they should be getting approval before they like back around.
Yeah,
the
there's a
side.
permit involved.
Yeah, so have to come through, in theory, our office, because it's in the HPZ.
Oh, okay, great.
That's if you're doing anything to the sidewalk now?
If you're
Yeah.
having to replace it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A quick question. I have at my house, when we bought it, there's a brick paved carpet from the front door to the curb. And it cuts through the unpaved sidewalk in front of the residence. Would that not be allowed per this guideline? Like, or what we see here in Diane Keaton's house, those concrete pathways, is that what this means? Yeah, you can turn around there, you see the brick. And there, do you see that?
What are you looking at?
This,
Well, you don't have the sidewalk installed here, I guess.
yeah,
no, there's lots of area in the Barrio where there is no sidewalks. You just have dirt. And then if somebody's put in a brick walkway,
but did you see they say, okay, we're not considering this a sidewalk, right? This is just a, what is that called then?
Sorry, Philip, didn't mean to switch it on you.
a
No, can you,
walkway.
op-
It's a-
can you open the guidelines again? There was one guideline I don't understand. I wouldn't know how to react to this. Where is it? Yeah, here.
Here we go. Paving in this area is not appropriate except for walkways onto the property.
Do you see that, Mary Louise? Would that be not allowed now?
Well, this, in this case, we don't have a continuous sidewalk.
You think we're just referring to existing sidewalk conditions? Don't demo the sidewalk? Is that what you're
Yeah,
thinking?
don't demo an existing sidewalk.
And cut through it with something else.
Right.
Continuous, but yeah,
See, we don't have continuous sidewalks in the barrio.
Yeah.
You get them here and there. There's
This is-
nothing that's,
yeah, this might be Armory Park right here.
yeah. You could say, do not cut through an existing continuous sidewalk
Mm-hmm.
with an entrance walkway.
But are we allowing what my previous, the owner of the house I live in, the previous owner, or several previous, when they did this carpet between the residence and the curb, do we have a problem with that?
Are you referring to the picture?
Yeah, the one that I showed you, which is right at our house.
No, that was always dirt.
Correct.
Okay, so they put a walkway in.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not cutting through the existing curb, and they're not cutting through an existing sidewalk.
Yeah. So this would be permitted and we are fine with it, right? I mean, looks
Yeah,
definitely useful, I have to admit. I think this is one way to address why people might be willing to not do the full sidewalk. This is one way to get around that. Because on a moist, rainy day, you can still avoid that's what people's problems are. Yeah, and all this has been stabilized if you look down the road, street now.
And this paving here is what we're trying to avoid.
yeah, that's exactly what you do not want to do.
So was anything here historic? No, I think this is just a weird design, no?
Which one are we talking about? The yellow one?
Yeah, nothing
Yeah,
there.
underneath that, there is a historic building.
Right,
All
but
of,
I know, but was any of this historic sidewalk?
yeah, see how narrow it is?
Uh-huh.
That's not your standard city sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what they did was just to pour concrete pad walkway.
Yeah.
And then filled it in with brick, which
Yeah.
creates nothing but problems.
Yeah, this is just an ornamental proposition.
Mhm.
Nobody can, like, how would they have to go through normally a permit with this, Jody? Sorry, not with the curb, but with the surface.
With the brick surface,
With both, the whole design here.
the sidewalk, the concrete sidewalk. The city is very active in installation of sidewalks and everything like that. So in theory, yes. They would go DTM for that. The brick, I don't think that is permitted. It's not something I've seen in the code or anything like that, that it's like.
It's very
specifically
popular.
called out.
Yeah, but that brick between the sidewalk and the curb used to be dirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
Okay.
go up to the pumpkin colored adobe with the yellow trim. That used to all have vegetation in there because I used to live in that building and I put in the vegetation. And when I moved, the owner took all the vegetation out and put all that brick in.
Yeah, that sucks. Look
Yeah,
to the
yeah, it
right.
did.
Look to the right because they did the same there. You can see it really clearly. Yeah. Yeah. So what are we saying? I mean, this goes into it because the next point is about vegetation and landscaping and so on. So I would like to say that we are encouraging landscaping, especially shade trees for shade.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
so do you want to be, when you encourage landscaping, because you have two areas that you're talking about. You have the area that's close to the house, and then you have that's close to the street.
Mm-hmm.
one's the parking strip and the other's right next to the building.
Yeah, so I mean, I would be about recommending it next to the building, because that could create other issues to the building where now you've got high waters, people put, I don't
Yeah.
know, roses in there. And then you've got issues that can happen for those buildings. I would also caution you, I am a tree hugger till the end. But some of those areas are very narrow, and if somebody puts in a tree that has crazy roots because it's looking for water, you're just also damaging sidewalks and potentially damaging the houses because of these roots. I mean, thinking term. So I mean, I would be careful about how you put that in there. Maybe you
Then
just
we
want
say
to-
we encourage trees with sufficient distance and appropriate roots or something, you know?
Yeah,
There's a list
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
Trees for Tucson has,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you, which ones to choose, considering the size and stuff like that. And then the city, doesn't the city also have a list of appropriate vegetation and trees?
it probably does, but off the top of my head, I don't know that that's for sure. It's not, it's probably DTM that has that.
Mm.
Well, we could say we encourage landscaping in the parking strip, appropriate trees and vegetation.
You mean on the road?
Well, the parking landscape, and that's between
Ah,
the curb and
and the sidewalk or the,
this between the sidewalk and the curb.
yeah. But if there's no sidewalk, I just would, yeah. Yeah, no, that works. And then we need to say if there's no sidewalk, then as close, close to the street.
Yeah,
Like
so
here.
looking back where we don't have the sidewalk. There's these ones are pretty close to the street. We're not seeing any
Yeah, that's well done.
damage.
No, this is good. This is good. This is fun walking, in the shade. Actually, they are much bigger these days than they used to be when this house was still turquoise. Yeah, look at it. And this cracked off, I think, a while ago.
Oh, they made it white. It was pretty or turquoise.
Yeah, I made it white.
Oh, it's so much nicer than blue.
What?
It looks so pleasant.
Jeez. Pleasant?
Yeah, that's just a nice shade of blue.
My God.
Sorry.
At least we're pretending though it could be a lime plaster, you know? Okay. So you like that purple one in the back too?
Okay,
Okay, but yes, these trees I think are good and we encourage them. There's one here that seems to work probably.
No. Hmm.
No?
yeah,
I think if we say that, we encourage planting of trees for shading the sidewalk in the appropriate distance to the structures or something.
So we have the guidelines split up here,
Okay.
sidewalk to property line, and then planting strip between the sidewalk and the curb, but we can write it in both places.
Okay.
Not sure where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Street trees for shade. Okay. And then, yeah, these are right planting strip. I think that's all good. Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent, then, good, let's move on here then.
Yeah, so Marilu, you're right? All of this is not done per the guidelines, or if they have been.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you know which it seems like we're missing a reference here, but I don't
yeah,
know
I was
to what.
looking at that and I'm not sure where that was going. Something got deleted. Is there a city code or chapter or
That's chapter 25, streets and sidewalks,
okay?
Arizona Code of Ordinance. I mean, Tucson, Arizona, codes of ordinances.
Tucson Code and Ordinances.
Mm-hmm. Code of ordinances. It's in transportation, chapter 25. Yeah. And it's about repairs, improvements in public rights of ways. It's a lot about temporary traffic management. So not really applicable for us. Repair of sidewalk by abutting owner. Failure to repair, no permit fee required. Permit required, unimproved portions. Yeah, it addresses these kind of things.
So are we down to streetlights or are we still?
Yeah, let's do it.
Is this for, who's this guideline for? If a property owner wants to put in a streetlight, but that's not, they are not putting that in, right?
Yeah, Jody, if the city wanted to put in streetlights, would they come through our review, or you just do it?
If they wanted to put in replica ones, they should. The Armory Park, they, as I understand it, they had a number of original streetlights and then they came through and got funding. I don't know if they did fundraising on their own or managed to get funding somehow and then put in all the replica streetlights, which
Yeah,
is to
I've
me a
got-
little dramatic because
Go ahead.
were they originally streetlights there and now you're and you know, that's great if that there were and you're in them back where they were originally. But if there were no streetlights there, you're now creating a false sense of history by adding those that exactly replicate what was the original ones. But that's a different story. So yeah, they should be coming through if they're going to install that stuff like streetlights. Or the other thing you want to, I don't know if you have it in here, but this is kind of that section. And it's not like you get a lot of say over it because it is what it is, are the G poles. Sometimes they're using the streets to put those on. There was a fair amount of hubbub a while ago, last year or the year before about it, but it's kind of died down a little bit. I just jinxed myself.
Yeah, I
But-
think when I was on the Armory Park board, there was some discussion about adding like cellular to the replica poles. I don't remember how that ended up.
Yeah, there was one that went through review. I haven't really had anything in any of the HPZs. They've been avoiding it since that they all talk or something, but they've been avoiding the HPZs. They ended up actually not putting it on a replica pole, and they did just its own pole for the 5G. But it might be something you want to touch on, so you have some kind of guidance in the future about it. You can't. I mean, it's not going to delist your district to have these in there. It's kind of like it's a utility. Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead then. It's a utility basically that, you know, like the pole boxes that they have at the street or the transformer boxes and stuff that they have in the street. When SHPO reviews it, it's just unfortunate, but it's something that's reversible. But you can maybe have language in there to co-locate any of the cell tower elements or something like that, if possible, to put them onto TEP poles that aren't transmission lines, something along those lines, but co-locate. I would just, so you just have the language in there.
There's 2 globe streetlights. Does that apply for the Barrio? Is that on both sides? I can't see it. Very low. Is that on the Barrio sides?
Let me think about it for a minute.
Maybe
I
look out
don't,
the
I don't think so. I
Uh-huh.
think it's only on one side. It's only on the Armory Park side. And then it's sort of hit or miss.
Mhm.
I've got one at the corner,
Okay.
15th and Stone. That,
Yeah.
and then, but I'm not sure that it exists. Yeah, right there.
Oh, no, there's one
It
on
does.
the
It's
side
across
there.
the street. I forgot about that one. Yeah,
No, there's,
it's
but
on-
they don't have the globe. Ah, yeah, wait.
there they are.
Yeah, they are now.
Yeah, they're both sides.
Mhm, mhm.
But they put them in since 2017.
They've, I'm trying to think. I don't remember when those went in, actually.
Actually, we have one in front of the office.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, it looks like they went in 2018.
So now they're gonna do the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the question still remains of this is direction for homeowners or not, on the streetlight perspective.
Did we talk, and I can't remember, did we have anything on like lights on the building? Because that was a big thing with Diane Keaton too.
Those big ass ones were in the back though. Those huge ones.
There was a few in the front too. There was something that we had to discuss with her. No?
Oh, I thought she had so originally, oh, right, so the previous owner had put in, or maybe I got this backwards, gooseneck,
Yes.
Yeah.
lights overs, and then it got changed so that it was, oh, no, the original owner got approved for smaller lights. And then I think Diane, and then what it got installed were not the small lights, but gooseneck lights.
Correct.
That's what happened. And then Diane Keaton came along and she wanted to change what was there
Even
to
bigger.
the bigger lights that were based on some other design
And
of something that she found and liked. I don't know. That's what it was.
yeah,
It was all wonky.
that was way out of scale. You find anything, Grace? Or so is this where
No.
we would make comments about lights on the buildings, or
well, they should be appropriate to the time period
yeah,
and the building
and size and proportion.
and size and
Yeah.
proportion.
We should, I think it's good to mention it. Yeah. But we don't want to repeat ourselves. I don't know if it was look.
No, I didn't see it anywhere else. I was just trying to think if there's like a more appropriate section that we should add it in, or not.
I think it needs almost its own. I mean, it's not a street light, or would you consider that a street light?
No, it's,
No, right? It's
the lights that were originally on the Adobe, that's the original house to my property.
mhm.
They put in some colonial lights, which had nothing to do with that Adobe. So I went back to the gooseneck and smaller for my lighting, just because it wasn't an Eastern colonial building. And I needed more light.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah, security considerations has a section that talks about adequate lighting. Maybe we put it in there. The lighting should be adequate, but
So let me.
you know, and then in the design considerations as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's not just the style, but also the scale, right?
Yeah.
Can we say something about light quality?
Yeah.
Because that can destroy really a lot of the experience in the barrio if you come with this really cold.
Well, not only that, but
No.
we have dark skies.
Uh-huh. Yes.
How do you want to, I guess, describe is it a temperature of light that we're specifying, or?
Yeah. I think we have to encourage here. Because to stay in the warm color range. What is that? 2,500 to 3,000. I mean, and to comply. Oh, you have the dark sky. No, then you don't need. Yeah, you have it already before. Yep. I think
This one I
Kelvin
think is
capitalized.
capitalized. Okay.
Mm.
Difficult to enforce because you don't need a permit to change the bulbs, but hopefully.
Yes, but that's why it says encourage. Well, I would have said encourage. I'm so encouraged.
Mm.
Okay. So we don't hear you if you're trying to say something.
Me? No, sorry.
No, oh, sorry, it sounded there. Okay.
One thing that I just thought of, the developer who's working on that space, that like infill lot between Meyer and Convent, he's gonna tear down some trees here for their driveway. Should we say something about,
Preservation of,
planting new ones, or?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's this one that they're gonna lose.
Mhm. That's a
Yeah,
shame.
when we had a neighborhood association, we worked really hard to plant trees.
Hmm.
And although these two were not part of our program, someone did plant those trees. So, yeah, he should replace those that he takes out.
Mhm.
So something to the effect that if trees are removed,
Should.
should,
Yeah. Okay.
new replacement trees should be
Hmm.
planted.
Um, that's very unspecific. In the same amount or so. In the at least the same amount or something, you know,
Hmm.
because
And
otherwise it could be
new
just
replacement trees of equivalent
yes,
number.
minimally equivalent, but yeah. Mhm. But I guess replacement is always equivalent. Yep. Number.
Mm.
Okay, are we on street signage?
Yeah. Uh-huh. With the curves, we have a repetition. Why does that need to be here?
It's repetitive with the
Yeah.
sidewalks.
Right? We can even call it sidewalks and curbs. And then just it says there. Planting I don't know, it's between. Yeah, but we should add that or just there, whatever we don't have in there. I think we have everything in. No? So they are talking about curb stamps. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, I probably should go back. It should go up
yeah.
top.
Mm. Sorry, got lost.
I don't know how it could be competing today, guys, nothing like here, but yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Barrio have curb stamps or do you just have the sidewalk stamps? Mary Lou, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. And you know what? I need to take a walk again. Um, it, I think there are a couple, but not many.
If there
I
are,
can't-
then you probably want to note curb stamps should be curved too.
Sorry, I was thinking there are on Convent, but I don't know where.
I think at Convent and Simpson, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, right?
Like I said, I need to take a walk again.
Yeah, nice.
There we go.
Oh. That looks nice. So the
Yeah,
other
she called it.
Huh? Other comment that I would have is, like, see here, this is a red concrete. Is that painted or is that a red concrete sidewalk?
That appears, I think, is painted.
Not the curb, like the curb I think is painted, but the sidewalk. Do you think that's painted?
That looks like pavers, but no, it's painted.
Oh, it does look, well. Do you have other places in the neighborhood where you have not the same color? I mean, I don't know that it's a big deal because it's kind of like, it is a little bit of a hodgepodge. You have areas where they don't have sidewalks and you have sidewalks. You have gray sidewalks. We had a neighbor in San Diego and that was their rose colored sidewalks throughout the district.
Oh my.
And it was always such a pain when they had to do sidewalk because it was which shade of red should they use to match. But it's something to consider.
That's
Need
just
to
Peter.
change T dot needs to be whatever that other thing is.
DTM.
Yeah.
Do we have any parking meters?
What do you mean? Parking meters?
Mhm.
No, not yet.
We have a permit.
Yeah, we have permitted parking. Because we keep having overflow from the community center.
Yeah, I think this
Oh,
makes
there are
sense.
permits on
Hmm?
Meyer, right? Or meters.
Convent we have, meters on my,
Meters?
at,
Cushing, you've got meters.
which is Barrio.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but it's usually on the community, is it on the community center side?
Yeah.
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 Did we talk about garages earlier on? And parking?
Yeah, I think we,
We did, huh? Huh?
yeah, we talked about where garages belong.
Mhm. Okay. I mean, I don't know, but the parking sounds good, no? It's just, are we like, yeah. Are we addressing parking, on-site parking earlier?
I believe
Yeah, we were,
so.
we were just discussing the on-site parking. And the number of parking spaces per residence, single-family residence.
So we are allowing garages.
Yeah, but the idea is that they should be at the rear of a building or the rear of a historic structure.
Yeah, but it says there, if you leave it, yeah. If entrance can only be from the front, then the garage must be set back further back from the man, but that's like, is it 3 feet? Garage door should be wood or steel. So we would like.
You could put something like, it's a little bit prescriptive, but how you
Yeah.
have placed on the side of the building, the garage must be set back from the main, further back from the main house frontage. You could say, rather than saying feet, you could say like something like 2/3
Yeah.
length of the house or something like that. So,
Mhm.
because, you know, some houses are really small and some houses are really
Yeah, exactly.
long. So if you kind of do something where you're
At least
portioning it
half,
out like
I would
that.
say.
Yeah, 2/3, however, it rather than feet, because feet can get tricky.
Yeah.
With small
2/3 would be
houses.
wonderful, but then some houses, like in my house, that wouldn't make sense. Because it, then you don't have a parking spot. you know, the remaining is not. But we can always talk about it in hard, you know, when there's hardship, right? I mean,
Yeah, so I mean, you can always also add a line, like, I know Armory Park had discussed it before.
mhm.
Maybe it was Armory Park, maybe it was West University, about reviewed on a case-by-case basis. That's how they said it.
Okay,
That way, you know, you're giving them a kind of a direction by saying at least half of the length. And
Yeah.
then for people where it's going to be problematic, then you say, well, we'll review it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The design must be, that's another thing we had discussed with when Dane, what's her name? Was it Dana? No. Well, the recent review we had on Simpson. I think the design must, yeah, obviously compatible with the other secondary structures in the development zone. And it must be clearly a, how do you say that? An auxiliary
auxiliary,
auxiliary structure, you know? Like why we declined it first, for sure was because it looked like a little casita, you know?
hmm
Just wasn't a, I think we could make that clear already. And how do you say that? Not subdued, that would be too human, but something like that in an architectural sense, you know, like it's not, it can't overpower the main structure. How would we say that? Would be discrete or something, or
okay, we can say compatible with the accessory structures. Should be compatible with the accessory structures found in the development zone.
yeah. And have the, and be of auxiliary, or how do you say that?
Auxiliary,
Auxiliary
auxiliary.
auxiliary, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one more I, yeah. Mm-hmm. Auxiliary character. And should be clearly of, you know, maybe that is enough to say it can't overpower the main structure and all that, you know, that's enough,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about, this gives us enough in our hands to talk about it. Look, they had it also stuccoed first, and you know, we had an inclination that that wasn't right, but this makes it very clear. And I agree totally with that. There is a few garages that are stuccoed on that street. On Simpson. Or how do you call them, the car? This should also be about shade, how do you call them, the carport, no? Is that mentioned?
I don't think we dealt with I'm not sure
We have
Yeah.
them a lot for review.
yeah, we do.
No.
Okay, the design of garages and carports should be compatible.
Okay. So the street makes sense. There was one thing, you remember that development that's west of Meyer between Simpson and Kennedy? There was declined once, it went in front of mayor and council and so on. And there was quite a debate about that alley in the back. And I have to say that it was a weird debate because, and I can't remember where that came from, but they were told from us or from the board, and you know, I think that's when the transition also happened between different members, but they were told to not have this as thoroughfare, and you know, they should break it down. But that's not how alleys are, right? I mean, alleys were really just part of the grid for a long time.
Yeah, they usually are. It's just
Yeah.
that,
Talking about this, right? And I think the
Yeah.
worry was that it would look like a street.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
it
We
would
had
end up,
Yeah.
that it would end up being a thoroughfare.
Yes, exactly. And it should just be an alley. So, but then they had to put up these bollards and that's really untypical, right? I mean, that's kind of, so maybe we say something about about alleys, you know, and it can be vague, but that alley have an alley character, you know, they cannot be designed like a street. And then there's a discussion about that, you know, but that gives us something in our hands to address alleys. And maybe say streets and alleys in the headline almost.
Alleys were really designed as an auxiliary. Usually you put your trash cans out there and recycle, you know, it would have been a time for picking up the garbage, or accessing your garage from the off the alley. Or you brought your horse and carriage in.
Yeah. Or where new alleys or where alleys are affected by new construction or something, or where historic alleys are affected by new construction. Existing alleys, permanent, existing, not historic. That would be there should be maintained as an auxiliary roadway. The street is paved, so they could be unpaved too.
Yeah, most alleys are unpaved.
Yeah, that's cool, you know. Roadway. And not, well, do we need to say that and not be confused with a street? with a, or, you know, with a main street. To not be confused. Yeah, exactly. I think that gives us really something to talk about if something comes up. You know, like that, those guys that you mentioned, Grace, you know, they will do an alley through that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Hey,
Did you, so this is unrelated, discuss the minor reviews in the last meeting?
I did not.
I went with Michael to do a couple of solar reviews.
Those
Couple
were
weeks
approved
ago.
now, right? I got
Yeah.
approval letters or something. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one on the off of that alley. That's what made me think of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they all of I also reviewed a solar panel on that house right in the front. Yeah. Okay, let's finish views and vistas and then we are done, no? For today.
Mhm.
We is not empowered to demand the following, but compliant is sternly encouraged. That's good. Sentence development. Vistas to the mountain, especially sun. And the sunset and the sunrise, and you know, that's what like I want to see the sunset from my porch, right?
Yeah, from your backyard too.
Yeah, sure. And that's what you know, that's why we need to sprawl, because everybody wants that. That was a big thing when I did a little research on urban density in Tucson. It's a big thing. Okay, but I don't think we need to address that further, no? I mean, are you? This sounds good. to me.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think these are,
Definitions.
Yeah, so we can go through that the next call, or how do we deal with the rest?
yeah, let's just make it
How many pages are left? 8, roughly, right?
35. Yeah,
How many did we do today?
went back too far.
No, I think, didn't we talk
We
about?
started with rainwater harvesting,
Oh, okay.
so we did 2.
That's all. Jeez.
Well, 3. There was 3.
Sorry, yeah. Okay. Okay, do we have to do a decision here that we finish this
No,
this agenda item? No, huh? We can just go now to number 5, which is, I don't know, my head.
which is, where's that?
Are you guys seeing it?
Staff updates. Oh,
So,
I have no update for you, but did you want to schedule another meeting for the design guidelines?
yeah,
Sure.
a good idea. Our next, do you know already if we have an April 9 meeting? No, you wouldn't, right?
I'm thinking no, because I don't think I have anything, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah. So the next then would be the 24th. Either we use that, you know, if it doesn't happen, I think we should just use that, no? That would be really good.
To use the 10th?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
nothing else happens. Otherwise, it's the 24th and I probably am on a site visit that day, so would have to be another day for me.
Okay, so just as an alternate, what would be an alternate to the 9th for you?
For me, it would be, for example, 26th.
Okay, let me
Or the week
grab
prior
that
to
as
that,
well.
17th would be fine.
Um,
That's a week after our or May 1st would be fine too. So far.
My calendar is free for any of those, although the 22nd is not the best.
So we're talking about the 9th, or what did you say?
The 10th or the 17th.
No, yeah, 10th if we don't have a meeting. And 17th is good on my end. That would be my preferred.
I've got, on the 17th, I've got a doctor's appointment and I can't guarantee I'm gonna be out of it in time.
Okay, then how about the May 1st?
Okay, okay. We'll make it a May Day. Okay, so May 1 guidelines.
I'll send out if May 1 works, I'll send out just a kind of a hold. Put
Yeah.
hold on there. So you have it on your calendar.
Yeah. Okay, I've got both of those blocked. Okay. So do we have any other staff announcements or information?
We're still in a holding pattern with the commission. We
Mhm.
did meet with the county last week. But we're waiting to hear back from them after they listen to what we had to offer. We haven't got a date for our session yet, but once we get that, I will let you know.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's
And
it.
is the next step then internal information, or is it then a real mayor and council hearing already?
No, it would be a study session with mayor and council to
Okay.
get further direction from them.
Yeah,
So
then we
this,
should join then. Yeah, that's important.
yeah, it wouldn't be necessarily a decision from them. They could say, stop what you're doing. They could say, move forward for doing this.
Yeah.
So we would continue to move forward. I expect, and we all think ultimately have to come back to mayor and council for a decision.
Sure.
But it wouldn't be at this. The study session would be just to kind of, hey, this is what we were initially told and we followed your direction, but then we received this information and we've talked to the county. This is how we want to proceed. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah.
But
that
there
kind
will
of
be
stuff.
public comment on that?
Public comments, usually that's up to the mayor and council whether or not they want to have public comments. In
Yeah.
study session, they don't usually have public comments. I mean, they're meetings that you can watch,
Yeah.
but they don't typically have public during them.
And you can grunt or something. Clap your hands or something.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
I want to do
Good.
that.
No, but that's not unimportant. Yeah. Okay.
And that was it.
So then,
It's just adjournment.
it's,
So we make a motion to adjourn?
6 p.m. Yeah, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, Grace,
Yes, I.
Mary Lou,
Aye.
Philip, I. Motion passed 3-0. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Jody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
everyone. Yeah.
Have a good
Bye.
evening.